Thank you for subscribing to the channel, and for those of you that haven't subscribed yet, it would be much appreciated, and I'll thank you in advance. It won't take you a second. Now, what I want to talk to you about today is a previous video, and this is an update for it. Now, the video was page bleeds and double page spreads. Now, it was quite a popular video, it still is, and it's helped a lot of people with their children's books, with their double page images, which a lot were having trouble with before. So I've actually created that video to help people do that much easier, and using Canva, because I've found it the easiest thing to do that with. Now, I'll leave a link, and this is an image of the thumbnail, so you can search for that. Now, if I go to the computer here, I'm doing two examples. One is a page that's 8.5 inch by 8.5 inch. Now, with the bleed, width-wise, I add 1.25, so that's 8.625. And the height is 8.5, so I add 0.250. So that's 8.750. And that's the page. That's to allow for bleed. I've done 2 pages of that because we're going to work on the double page spread for that. I've also done another page, 8 by 10 inches, or 8.125 to allow for bleed on the width, and 10.250, the 0.250 to add for the bleed on the height. And I've done 2 pages of that. I was asked by one of you about the heights, the size of the pages. Would it make a difference if it's not 8.5 by 8.5? Could it be another size, such as 8 by 10, plus the bleed, of course? And yeah, it's just the same. It's exactly the same. And I understand where people are coming from when it comes to how big the image is originally, and can you drag it? Well, you don't really want to drag it anywhere. All you want to do, except from the list of uploads, onto the canvas, or onto the page if you like. And that's about as much dragging as you want to do. And I'll give you an example. So we'll look at this image here. This was the original image that we're working with. And yeah, I can drag and drag and drag, but you don't really want to be dragging it. The resolution on that is quite high. It's quite a good image. Now, if I was to use this image, which is a photograph, and it's 640 by 480, it was captured in. And if I stretch that and stretch that, it goes blurred. And that's not what we want. And I'm filling that. If I bring that down a little bit, I can squeeze that in there. It's too blurred. The image is terrible. If I zoom in a little bit, you can imagine what it would be like on a book. It would be awful. So first things first is get a really good resolution. Now, it could be 72 dots per inch, or 300 dpi, or it could be a PNG or a Jpeg. Now, I'll leave a link. There's a link here, and there's an image of the thumbnail for a video all about DPI images and what best to do. So you'll get some great advice in there. So forget about trying to drag a small image in a poor resolution into a big space, because it's going to destroy your book. And you can zoom in and you can see it, and you can see it for yourself. You can just go, nah, no, it's blurred, or it's pixelated, or it's not going to work. It's got to be clear. It's got to be pin sharp when you zoom in on it. When you zoom in on that page, what you've got to be thinking of is that page is going to be in a child's face, or a parent's face, or an adult's face, or whatever. It's going to be close up. And it's okay if it's miles away. If it's on the other side of the room, you can get away with a bit of pixelation and a bit of blurring. But if it's right there in front of you, it needs to be the best resolution you can get it. So yeah, look at that link and on your resolutions. And if I drag this image in here, which was the original image, if I just push that to the top, I look for an area here on the side, and I'm going for a little gap here between this long bit sticking out and that back. So okay, so I'll zoom back out again. I'll copy that, paste it, double click it, and I'll zoom back in again, and I'll go to the opposite side here. So that was where we were before, right here on this. Let me see if I can zoom in some more on that. And you'll notice the picture is still nice and clear. This is where we were before, in this little gap, and that's where we need to be again on this side. Moving it over, done. And all the while, we're pushing these images up off the bottom. We can bring them down off the top if you like, if you've got something that you need to be in the picture. So that's cool. So that works well with an 8 by 10, but how does it work with an 8.5 by 8.5? Let's try it on this one. We drag it in, push it up, move it across as far as I possibly can because we think we're going to need it. And if I zoom in, let's just find a little point on there, right on the edge of that S there, on that side. Right, so I'll zoom out, copy that, paste, double click it, push it up. Now I want the edge of that S to reach this line here, but it won't do. It's not going to do it because the image is too small. Yet it'll fit on an 8 by 10. Now if I was to go back to the 8 by 5 here, and we can't get it to fit, but what if I went like this? Drag it even more. And this is why I'm so against dragging it if you can help it. Right, so let's find that S. Okay, I don't think it's going to do it there, so let's drag it some more. Let's find the edge of that S. Right, okay, so I'm pretty much there. Now, I'll let that go, copy it, paste it, double click it, and move it across. And, yep, I've got the edge of that S this time. But I've had to stretch that image in order to be able to do that. And I don't want to do that. So the best thing I do, no matter what size your image is, as long as the quality is good, I go to Canva again. I set up a new page. Now, if it's 8 by 5 by 8 by 5, I want a 17 wide page. So that's 2 pages at 8 by 5. It stays the same on the height, obviously. 8.5. I'm not including bleed on this. I don't really need to. If I go to that small image again, that wouldn't fit, and drag it into this 17 by 8.5 image canvas, I can move it around enough. There's still enough room for me to move it around, but it wouldn't fit, would it? I've got 2 pages now side by side, which are 8.5 inch by 8.5 inch, and yeah, it fits nicely on this page. Yet I couldn't do it with the pages individually. So that's why I do it this way. I put it into here, and I know how much I've got to do. I don't have to drag it anymore. It'll give me the right width, and I can push it up, move it about, depends what part of the image I want in the frame on the canvas, and click out of the box. Now that's it. Now I'll download that. I'll clear these out of the 8.8 by 5s, 8.5s. Here is that image that I've just created, and I can move that about to where I want. Let's say, for instance, I can pick new spots now. I don't have to go for that S to try to squeeze it in the image. I can go again for this top bit like I did with the 8 by 10 and copy it, paste, double click it, push it up, move it across, and that's it, sorted. And what about doing that same image with the 8 by 10? And we'll drag it in, double click it, push it up, move it across, copy, paste, double click, push it up, move it across, and there we have it. But you see how much excess I have here, so I can actually do more with it. Don't worry about it not fitting, it'll fit. All you have to do is create another canvas. This one's for the 8.5 by 8.5 inch. So this is 17 inches by 8.5 inches, not a problem. So if I resize that just to show you another one. So if we go for 16 wide, by 10 high. Okay, now this is the page for the 8 by 10. So what we do is we drag that original image into it, and again we download it. But it doesn't matter what you have. If that image was only half that size, and that was the original image, say, we can still get that into there, because all we do is we drag it in. It will fill the frame. Double click it, and you might be able to move it around a little bit. You might have a bit of freedom there before you download that one and share it amongst the 2 pages. I hope that helps, and yeah, let me know what you think. I'm glad you're enjoying that original video, and again there's a link for that at the end of this video. So any other questions on it, let us know. I'll do an update in the future.